Thank you for taking the time for yourself. And I really don't know what your eyes want to do at this moment. You might feel more comfortable closing them or letting them find a spot on the wall in a peaceful way. But there have been many situations where you felt comfortable. So you can just zero into that idea now. Perfect. You can take all the time that you need as you take a long breath in and a relaxing breath out. Perfect. And I'm curious if you will notice the tempo of your breath, the flow of your chest rising and falling as you go deeper into this experience. Perfect. And sooner or later, the accent on the inhale will let go of the exhale. And your shoulders might relax. And you don't have to tell your shoulders to let go of the neck, nor is it necessary to tell the head to let go of the jaw, because you already know how to. Relax comfortably. And I don't know where you're at on your UFO journey. For some, a cosmic Watergate is not amusing and land in serious legal trouble. For others, they have vulnerable friends that join in. A swamp of alien paranoia or something else. And for others, they're all caught up in that repulsing that Victor Schauberger built. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it looks like a bronze UFO, doesn't it? And it's not necessary, the exploration of different perspectives. The rumor that turned into a mammoth myth that one of those things took off and shattered on the ceiling. And it's not necessary to consider the advancement of knowledge. Maybe you knew all along that inside a repulsing are those two wavy plates that try and mimic a riverbed. And in every culture, some believe God's elements of the air, particular matter and gases, should not be the focus of matter transformation. And it's a very common principle without knowing it, to focus on the most comfortable part of your body into a relaxed state, totally free, warm, fine, flexible. And just like our own bodies, cold fusion furnace of disposal and elimination, you can allow your body to get out of the way as you go down deeper into a level of suitable existence. Perfect. Maybe you've known all along the deep fascination with complete rest, absolute zero. Maybe it's more like Tachyon energy. It's zero, but everything has full. Maybe what you don't know is how special you are. You've slowed down your heart rate, blood pressure, without me asking that of you. That's how special you are. Maybe in the past you've been concerned with UFOs, alien life, Project Blue Book, or something else. Or maybe you resonate with the words of Victor Schauberger, who once said, "A person who lives 100 years ahead of his time doesn't understand the present, and the present doesn't understand him. One sees things completely differently. One speaks a language that is foreign to today's scientists." Now, after so many years, we have an alternative that's going to have such an immense impact, economically, politically, socially, and more. I would even say that this will initiate a new age of evolution. But the truth is, anyone in your situation would completely understand. In fact, you've been doing great. So maybe you can be a little kinder to yourself, can't you? But first, I'm going to share with you a short story. And at first you might be thinking, why am I sharing with you this story? But your subconscious mind will be listening and do something wonderful for you a little later on. And it's said that in the book Natural History, written in 79 AD, that portraiture began with a fear of lost love. The daughter of Butades, a potter of Sicyon of Corinth, who was the first to preserve likeness. When a young woman in love heard her man would travel abroad, she drew an outline of the shadow of his face, thrown by a lamp onto the wall, and her father, a potter, pressed clay onto this, which he hardened by exposure to fire. She could have his face before her day and night, because by the 17th century, portraiture made a cruel departure less painful. It was to cheat abandonment, to preserve a memory, to close distance, turn absence into presence. And if you've read the book, The Face of Britain and Nation Through Its Portraits by Simon Sharma, you'll be familiar with of when Sir Kenelm Digby lost the love of his life in 1633. Maybe Venetia had drunk too much beauty potion. It was fashionable at that time, known as Hyper-Vigilant. How could she leave him? They had promised they would stay together forever, in each other's arms. And he didn't want her to have the hard life he had in the Navy, How could she leave him? And you can see this portrait by Van Dyck far, far away in some art gallery in the United Kingdom. And there she lives forever, where she could stay by his side. And as a wise man once said, memory is a way of holding onto the things you love, the things you are, things you never want to lose. Maybe in the past you forgot the fastest way to get upset is to focus on what you can't control and to forget about what you can control. You don't have to think of that time-traveling scientific study where an electron beam gun was fired through a grate, and it isn't necessary to recall the finer details that the first time the electron travelled in a straight line. And you don't need to be concerned that the second time it travelled as a wave particle. And what I'm saying without any effort on your part at all is no matter how many grates were added or removed, the electron travelled as a wave because it had learned. And as you already know, it was almost as though it went into the future to remember the past. And sooner or later, you'll bring back what you need through those grates now. I don't know if it's a sense of calm, sensationalizing through you. Thoughts that you've already learned that now those can stop. Or a settled vision of the present moment. And as Andrew Truscott noted, a future event causes the photon to decide its path. And for most of us, when we're in the past, we're not here in the now. And you've known all along to let go of your past future thinking. To absorb all of that knowledge in the present now. And if you've read A Short History of Nearly Everything in the Reverend Evans universe, looking into the past is, of course, the easy part. When you glance at the night sky, you can see a lot of history. And for all we know, the North Star might have burnt out in January, or in 1854, or any time since the 14th century. But what Bob Evans, the semi-retired minister of the Uniting Church in Australia, does really well is he tries to spot these moments of celestial farewell. He hunts supernova. He is a titan of the skies right here in the now. You already know how to look up, looking into the past now. It seems to give everyone a sense of pleasure, doesn't it? Perhaps even a special kind of enjoyment. Because the truth is, every time you allow your thoughts to be here now, awareness present now, absorbing now, You are absorbing the complete dimensions of time. While the magic combination of your brain's inner sea of spinal fluid surrounded by the thalamus and hypothalamus glands bring the most powerfully creative systems together in near instant manifestation. In each moment, with each tempo of your breath, with each revolution of relaxation, focusing on what you can control. When you're ready to time travel, teleport yourself or something else into the present. You can stretch out, wriggle your fingers and toes. Take a deep breath in and open your eyes. Welcome back. You're perfect, just as you are.